Okay. Sending out the links. Because it now says that it's on my phone. Alright. For all the time travelers out there catching the beginning of this stream, I am Tidbit. I mostly stream these every Monday at about noon PST. I don't know how to easily convert that to whichever time, so you have Google. Math it. And today, we are continuing on with Apollo Justice Dual Destinies. Monstrous Turnabout. Trial Day 1. April 18th, 9:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. And surprise, last segment, we were playing as Apollo doing the investigations and stuff. And we just, in the story, met Athena as Apollo. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here. I'm just excited. This is my first real court case, after all. Yeah, a real ball of excitement she is. I just know what she needs. Athena! Didn't you ever learn about your indoor and outdoor voices? I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters. By scaring the daylights out of me? I am the god of the sun. No. I find that shouting, "I'm fine!" in a really loud voice relieves stress. It's not super confident, but it works. It's part of my Chords of Steel voice workout, and a must before every trial. I remember where I was April 18th. The horrors. But what year? You want me to shout? Here? That's right. Here. I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine! All right. I'm Athena Sykes. And I'm fine! Did I get the crack right? The what? That may have actually worked. Wait, what crack? I thought it might help. Always works for me. An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. Uh-oh! Someone mentioned a person from their past, which means they're going to be relevant either as either convicted or a corpse. I see. A proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse? The point is to relieve stress, not get totally exhausted. What's with all the racket, you two? Mr. Wright. Just a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit? Oh, this? I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back. That's all. That's all? That's huge news! But why now? I have a feeling I'll be needed in the courtroom again sometime soon, like in case 1. Wait, but this is case... No, this is case 2. Huh? But how are you going to get it in case 1 then? You've never heard of a non-sequential story, have you? Those are ridiculously annoying to understand. Yeah, well, too bad. But we can talk about that another time. No fair. Inquiring minds want to know. But, wow. Woo! They have him in the rags outfit as well. I'm so used to seeing him in his usual laid-back clothes. That's the only nice way I can put it. He wasn't perfectly aligned. His jawline was just a tiny bit higher. That suit makes him look like $1 million. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case? Yeah, he's serving time. But before that, he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology? That's right. I've heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the power of suggestion, he could make even the most stalwart defendants confess. Psychology. In the courtroom? I've been hearing a lot about that lately, like from a certain yellow suit. They model his old Phoenix, but never Gumshoe. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. Where's Gumshoe? So, he must be a pretty scary guy, considering he's a prison inmate and all. So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. I knew it was gonna be bad news. It's probably just hyperbole. At least, I hope for your sake. Wait, so is it true or not? Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours attached to the rest of your body, that is. Yikes! Better tone down my cords of steel, too. So, are you all ready? It might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. We have a useless flower. We have a warning charm. This one was just left on my face. We have something important. We have something important. We have kind of important. Definitely important. Most likely important. Would you stop describing them like that? No. We have picture. We have mask. We have picture. We have statement. And we've got clipping. Everyone in prison's scary. Just ask 4-foot Jill, who committed tax fraud. She got the nickname for being 4 foot. Okay. Right, Mr. Right. But I'm fine. Did you not even notice the get into the ring pun since we're defending a wrestler? Oh. I guess. I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Thanks!
Okay, let's do this!
The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low. But that's nothing new. Believe in our client. Seek the truth. That's all we can do. Hang in there, Mayor Tenma. Here comes justice. April 18th, 9:30 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 4. Wait, didn't that get blown up? Oh, wait, it did get blown up. This is in the past. Wait a minute.
Court is now in session for the trial of Damian Tenma.
Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor.
A defense team? Okay. I know that big booming voice anywhere. As chipper as ever, Mr. Justice. But who's this young lady next to you?
I am Athena Sykes, my Justice's junior partner, and fresh out of law school. Oh, Mr. Justices.
Well now, full of beans too, eh? Excellent. Make an old man feel young again. Now, for the prosecution. It'll be live streamed shortly. His VTuber model had some issues. It appears the prosecution is not ready just yet.
Oh, right. What was this guy's voice? This guy was like a superhero. Never fear, for I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak.
Prison? Oh, Yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time. Ooh, we have a chat message. I don't think they ever asked who Maya Emma Trucy were. Well, you brought up a good point. But in this game, they have the scales of justice. Everything is a bit more real. So, probably, the judge couldn't see them because of their 2D sprites. Just whoop, right through them. They don't have any back sprites. How could he see them?
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwell's an inmate.
And let me guess, Satina's right over there.
But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
Is he gonna talk? And we'll get to know what he sounds like, supposedly? Jesus, what happened to his face? Nope. Why is it question marks? We know exactly who this is. Who is that with his back to us over there? That's him. I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackwell.
Ahem. Is the prosecution ready?
He's British, but also Japanese.
Enough jabbering.
Get on with it already.
Of course, forgive me.
Ugh. Why are all the people related to this case so scary?
Very well. Prosecutor Blackwood. What's the matter?
Must we continue to fritter away time like this? Is it all right there in the... Wait. It is all right there in the indictment. Indictment? An opening statement would be pointless.
Pointless? Well, I'm starting to sweat. I should turn on a fan.
Looks like the cat, or in this case, the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue.
But
He's one of these, a Von Karma lawyer. Yup! They always have him. Someone not like everyone else, and definitely evil.
Well then, your baldness. If it's so very important, why don't you do the honors?
woo me?
There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things. And then decide they no longer want them. Once it's theirs, a selfish old fool.
Excuse me?
Controlling the judge and all. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement?
Old daughters such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren?
No. All these years, I thought the opening statement was the prosecution's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. Might be a nice change of pace.
What? You actually fell for that? Must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about.
Ahem. The opening statement, huh? Well, let's see here. The victim was one Rex QB, alderman of Nine Tails Vale, and the defendant, Damon Tenma, mayor of Tenma Town, is accused of murder.
And why, pray tell?
was the mayor arrested. His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus, he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock to the municipal merger. The caretaker and the secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive. So, in a nutshell, I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible. Bravo, your boldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head. Flattery will get you everywhere.
These voices are too similar. We might need to change someone up. He's playing Simon Says with the judge.
Moving right along now. Let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
I am the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I also be keeping tabs on old Blackwell here.
I also heard you would be providing protection if it ever came to that. It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated.
Wait, who's protecting who from what?
Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even oh my!
Fulbright, save your platitudes for the funeral. Get on with your statement.
That's the spirit. Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you.
Oh, if he keeps talking like that, people are gonna ship him. Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to be intimidated, Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say. Ignorance is bliss. Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious.
Now, let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright.
You got it. But first, I'd like to say the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. Did you not hear my name? Oh, I act all dumb, but in fact, I'm one of the smartest characters in this fucking series. I know exactly what's going on here. I'm the new Edgeworth. Alderman Cuby was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damon Tenma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Cuby was asleep from a drug he unwillingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Alderman Cuby had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug? That's right! The accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Cuby's autopsy report added to the court record.
And the victim managed to attack his attacker, despite being impaled by a spear? That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible?
Let's check the autopsy report. There's no details. Cause of death, stabbed with a spear. Estimated time of death, around 3:20 p.m. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of witnesses, so the time of death is pretty... not like a wide range of like 3 hours. Well, he was a former pro wrestler. A former pro wrestler. After all, that spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him.
Objection!
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe he could fight back there for being skewered by a spear?
Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink.
Oh, great. Is that your gimmick? You're gonna disprove all my arguments with fucking hearsay from prison? Great. I don't know. Still sounds a bit far-fetched.
Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade.
I didn't sign up for this. Oh no. Look at that face. Oh no. What'd they do to Apollo?
So your life is spared. For now.
Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die.
My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, or my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused prints were on the weapon, and he's the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree, your baldness? The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute.
Yeah, he has the judge leaning towards a guilty verdict. And the trial's just barely begun.
What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the merger for the purpose of freeing Tenma Taro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwards burg. Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman.
Hey, here's a straight one. I heard he went on a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal.
Comedians we have, Order! There will be no gossiping or testing material in my courtroom. Your boldness. Please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium.
Oh, wait. This is the voice I've been doing for Tenma. Okay, Mr. Katana Collector. There's gonna be 3 people here with very similar voices.
I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenma Taro. Then again... perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold, the lunatic appears poised to lunge at you any moment. Lunatic.
The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head? They're just a fashion statement. I think...
Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they?
The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud.
What a dreadful, fearsome lass we have here.
Whew! Thanks for the lifeline, Athena. Give Simon a new voice. Is his name Simon Blackwell? Simon Blackwell. 28? And he's doing hard time? Jeez. So, you said he's British and Japanese.
So is he just very posh and angsty? Would this shadow near replica be a good voice for Simon Blackquill? You could go with like a smooth samurai voice. That's pretty good. Alright, I am Edgy the Hedgy.
Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. The power of suggestion is one of those more powerful tools in Simon Blackquill's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impression to suit his objectives.
This guy really is bad news.
In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself, despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker?
None other than this statue right here.
It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle.
Two yokai, to be exact. Well, on one side is the nine-tailed fox, and on the other, Tenma Taro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though this very case were rendered in art.
The mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted.
Judge, two creatures. Actually, Your Honor, those are Japanese yokai. I'm a weeb.
Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Alderman Cuby was murdered with a spear that had been on the...
So, those weapons on the wall of the Fox Chamber, I presume those are real? Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is rather dangerous?
No matter what he collected, the alderman insisted it had to be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently, one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle.
What? It's gotta be an old wives' tale. Oh my gosh! Oh, I only got a frame of it. But Apollo's face, they're trying to do the art. Oh my gosh. I think they did the timeline originally, but they saw how bad Apollo's was, so they created Case 2 to be Case 1, and just it's like, okay, sweep Apollo under the rug. We can't recreate those faces. They only work in 2D.
The alderman had pure, unadulterated justice flowing through his veins.
All the defense have some wacky faces.
Yeah, but Apollos don't really work in 3D. Whatever he did it right. We've lost a real champion of justice in his death. Nothing but claptrap and balderdash, if you ask me. Now stop your bleeding and tell us about the weapon. Your wish is my command! The fingerprints on the defendant, Damon Tenma, were found on the murder.
It doesn't make sense if you think about it. Prince could easily be wiped off.
You do have a point there.
I'd venture to say he did not wipe off the prince because he could not.
What do you mean?
Think about it.
Looks like he wants you to figure it out. Well, don't just stand there. Completely be manipulated by him. Show him who's boss. Him, apparently.
I'm totally lost.
Why don't you just tell me the answer already?
Not looking at you.
I don't think he saw that plea for help.
You feeling all right, kid? Running a fever, perhaps? A demon fever?
I wish this trial came to came with a reset button.
Well, the specifics may not come to light. Please proceed, Detective Fulbright.
At the time, the Alderman QB was asleep from a drug he unfortunately ingested. Ha! Got through it that time. Come to think of it, a coffee cup was found on the floor. Was the sedative in his coffee? Bingo! We found traces of a sleeping agent all over the inside of the cup. And that is why he was out cold. That is, until he leapt to his feet upon being impaled by the mayor. You tried to say murderer! Maybe.
What an awful way to wake up.
A rather stimulating eye-opener, if you ask me. I, too, would have risen to the attack, for to die in battle is a samurai's way. Paradise awaits fallen heroes, but that hole in his stomach would make eating a challenge.
And that's your prompt to reset the game to get the good ending. Aw, I missed it.
Prosecutor Blackwell, please! These morbid jokes of yours have no place in this court! Says the jester in detective's guise. Moving right along! Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim. Come on, I didn't even get to say shish kebab.
So, the alderman was drugged because he was really strong?
Did you see those rock-hard muscles of his? I'm surprised the spear even managed to pierce that armor-like musculature. I admit, I'm completely jealous of that righteous body of his. Let me touch it.
What? Okay, well, he did look pretty buff, even in that suit he had on.
Quite a difference when compared with a yellow belly like you.
Yellow belly? Who even says that anymore? Yeah, and the color's wrong too. Oh, how about a squishy red tomato? Don't help him! I move to strike both of your comments from the record.
Mr. Justice? No, those are stay. Those are going to be fun clips. Maybe put them on a goat horn. Mr. Justice's character is not the issue here. Now, let's get back to what happened after the far more muscular alderman was impaled.
This is not a bad thing, but your voice makes me like Bobby less. Good job. Like, he's too extra. He's insufferable. I mean, most superheroes are. If you tried to live in a society like that, if everyone talked like this, you'd go insane. Well, yes, your average person would likely have died on the spot.
I shake my star-bright fist at you.
If I took off this glove, the shining bright of my blood would blind you!
You didn't even say a statement that time. Could he have really attacked his attacker after being impaled with a huge spear?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Absolutely! After all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged, then speared, was answered with a righteous counterattack.
But does being a former pro wrestler make him superhuman?
Absolutely! After all, he was one of the good guys, like a superhero on the side of justice. Even though he was retired, he could still don his superhero guise in times of need.
Objection!
You need to lay off the comic books, detective. We're talking about real life here.
Setting aside the half-wit's flights of fancy, the fact is, the court ordered post-mortem concluded the victim moved after his skewering.
Is he slowly getting more Old Englishy? I can't tell. So, he found the strength somehow to attack his attacker, huh? Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds airtight. No wonder he's so confident. He was confident when he was walking around barefoot in the manor. Yeah, right, he's dense.
No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about the alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. Okay, so that's the recent one. Murdered with a spear on the wall. Defended at the time he was asleep. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, making a human shish kebab. Suddenly! So, gotta present something here, is what the game is telling me. But no prince could be left.
Objection!
Did the alderman really strike the mayor?
What? Are you questioning my sense of justice?
Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him. But the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory.
It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well. Let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the detective statue theory.
There's no fingerprints. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves.
Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed.
If he touched the statue with his bare hands, it should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you?
Hey! This can't be happening! Did I arrest the wrong man?
He's not wearing socks. You did it, Apollo! You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse!
Well, it's just 1 point in our favor.
Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman?
Well, if it wasn't the alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor.
You mean there was a third party in the Fox chamber?
Exactly! And this could be the big break we've been looking for.
There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion?
The least you could do is look at me while you're being dismissive.
Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono.
The fuck was Justice Dono? He's been watching too many samurai flicks.
It will take far more than that to cut down Samurai Blackwell.
Your name is Simon.
I am a samurai. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship.
This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell.
There's a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's.
So, what are you getting at?
Hone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle and you shall see the hole that you have found but is an illusion.
Do you want to, like, parse out your words? Oh yeah, the lights do pulsate in the back. Interesting. Now, let's see. How was that cloth used? Was it used? Ooh, fun. To wrap the statue. Whack them. Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth. In short, it wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor. Precisely. Bully for you, boy. It was nothing. Bully for me? Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did? I did. Right. That was a statue wrapped in cloth, would leave no fingerprints as plain as day. But this also proves there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back. Oh. Oops. Now the cloth is under. Now, do you see how dull your mind is? I'll make sure to sharpen it next time. A particularly frightening inmate once told me that. He always tentatively honed his blades before he went to work, like those samurais of yore.
Samurais? Sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me.
Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Oh, wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef? That's too long.
It would seem that the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all.
I was kind of attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. They didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue. Who's to say someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Like, I didn't think of that. Anybody could have not left prints on it. Why aren't you the main character? I don't know! It's because if I said sword fight to a woman, there wouldn't be gay undertones. That's why you're not the main character. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer! Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you? Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks, allegedly from a yokai, were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue.
The defense... Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed the alderman?
That's exactly what I am suggesting.
Objection!
No, Athena! You've just lost what little credibility we had left. Oh, no. Sorry. I guess I got carried away.
Mr. Justice, we have no time to deal with objections between members of the defense.
Sorry, Your Honor. It's just, this kid's still, well, a kid. Ouch. You meanie? I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright.
So, is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it?
No, Your Honor. I believe they're a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe there's some sort of monster murdered the alderman.
Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that?
Why indeed?
Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is.
No! I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. My feelings being hurt is not going on the record.
Hoy, Fulbright. Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks.
What? You mean you can explain all of that? Look at this. My eyes are in the wrong position, and my cheek is down near my chin, while my tongue is near my nose, nearly licking the sweat drop of stress.
Our investigation prowess is without equal.
I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession. It's much easier to say, nuh-uh, they're the bad guy. The Apollo is like chicken SpongeBob.
Very well. Let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks. Now I want eggs.
Why, Your Honor? Because of eggs, you idiot! They have yokai in them.
They have yolk.
Have I been saying it wrong all my life? Oh no! This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters. So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer.
Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears?
Absolutely! He knew exactly how to prey on their suspicious minds. Superstitious minds, actually. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Tenma Taro, that is.
Tenma who?
Tenma Taro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon. And thus, were they blinded to other, more plausible explanations.
Hold it! Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect?
Mr. Justice, please explain yourself.
On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at QB Manor. As a part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenma Taro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary...
Objection!
Objection.
Dullard, you are playing right into the killer's mind games.
What?
Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believe the murderer to be the work of the real Tenma Taro. However, the police believe that the person in the Tenma Taro suit is the killer.
Huh?
The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by Alderman. And thus, our mentally deficient mayor
Oh, rude.
was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
They bring on Jinxie and she proves in court that demons are real irrefutably. And the whole world's like, well, fuck, demons are real. I mean, they could be. The Magitam is a thing. And literally everything attached to Karine Village, for that matter, of the spirit channeling and all those shenanigans. There's magic in this world. I am kind of on Jinxie's side that there probably was a real demon that ran off, but it's definitely the weird Frenchman.
Objection!
Do you
honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
Objection. The evidence speaks for itself, Fulbright. Right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and the hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice.
But do the people of Ninetales really believe a yokai is behind the crime?
Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds.
Just so, a particularly silver-tongued inmate had once the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey.
You don't say! Was this inmate a con artist?
No. I think I have Blackwell's voice now. This seems more robust. Sorry to get sidetracked, but you think Trucy does magic to comfort Jinxie? like, see this magic teleporting rabbit bring us luck? Yeah, get a girlfriend with the benefits for your mental health. That's good.
He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap.
Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey?
Yes, well, now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination.
Feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong? Oh, absolutely! They parade around in yokai costumes shouting, "Down with Mayor Tenma!" And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenma Taro, the Dark Lord of their kind. Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenma Taro? I'm confused. I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about that guy.
Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act? Let me just get this back on track here.
Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters. Ha! Got you again. The amazing Ninetales. No one knows his true identity, right? That's right! And he was a lone wolf, or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. And before anyone knew it, he was champion! Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. He was a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town Pro Wrestling. He was amazing! If ever there was a real superhero, it would be him! Second to me! I dream of becoming a true champion of justice like him someday. I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwell. Athena, what are you going on about? A police detective, and a prisoner in chains. You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would. So you do understand the greatness that is the amazing Ninetales! Simon explaining the heresy lore of Japanese yokai.
Hold it!
did the murderer and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears? Absolutely! It had an intimidating effect. The presumed return of the dreaded Tenmataro has them shaking in their boots.
Oh my! Is it really that bad?
They're superstitious, lot. It's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose on their village. Oh, if I could pull in any one person to do this person's voice, it would be my twin. He is an expert in British, like, horror knowledge, like Jack the Ripper, and a bit of samurai stuff. He mostly does, like, Nordic stuff, but he could... I'm immediately getting my twin's vibe with that random Jack the Ripper reference, because it's exactly what my twin does. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark a mass exodus.
I see. That's a very persuasive argument.
The mere thought of his honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right now.
So you see, there can only be one reason why anyone would plant those feathers in Trex.
Hold it!
Simon's a British weeb. He knows British lore and Japanese lore. That's the two parts of his brain. One black, one white. The white is... No, I can't parse that. But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, why not stop there? Why murder Alderman QB?
Excellent point.
It is, isn't it? So your honor agrees there was no reason for the murder.
Objection!
Objection. Perhaps the killer was on the spur. Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated? From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that? Alderman QB's secret identity.
Apollo? I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why wouldn't it be a motive to the mayor to commit murder? This is not good!
This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the amazing Ninetales. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. Yes, I'm sticking with this voice, because it just fits his vibe.
Oh my! But why would it have been there?
The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more?
Well, could it be?
Your baldness has had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex Kubi, was the amazing Ninetales. And the mayor's discovery of this fact was his motive for murder. No!
Order! Order! What a shocking development! A motive clearer than any crystal.
What do we do now, Apollo?
Objection! QB had one tail!
He had a tail?
Yes, that's why he had the fur. He's just a furry. Not a Ninetales, though.
Are you sure?
No. I don't think they
tie the alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. And then you check his photo and you're like, how did I not notice he had a tail? Ah, there it is, plain as day, on his face. How did I not notice? If anything, he's a twin tail.
At last, we've reached my real point. Why did the alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your boldness?
I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona. Just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement?
Very astute of you, your boldness.
Right. Now take a look at this.
If you value your dearest life, you will... What?
If you value your dearest life, you will merge Ninetales Vale with Tenma Town. This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cuby's pocket.
What? At present, the alderman's wife is in the hospital. And that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life.
Why don't I have this letter? Wait, did the blackmail letter sent to the Mayor Tenma go missing? Right after the alderman's murder? You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder? And planted it into the alderman's pocket? It's possible, but we don't have any proof that's what happened. Talk about being up a creek without a paddle. Blackmail letter added to the court record.
Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he just left after planting the yokai things. But he was knocked out cold by his sudden decision to kill the amazing Ninetales.
Do not tell anyone about this threat. If you do, consider your dearest as good dead. Consider your dearest as good as dead.
So, it was the amazing Ninetales counterattack that brought the entire crime to light.
Wait a second. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planning the yokai evidence. And that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that? Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony.
Yeah. Mayor Tenma killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers in tracks.
Hold it! So, let me get this straight. You believe the mayor planted the yokai evidence before the murder, not after?
Absolutely! And when he was knocked out cold by the alderman's last punch, he would have thought he had a chance to plant the evidence after that. He would have had a plan. You know what I mean.
Something's not right here.
Yeah, he's not in the courtroom.
Not that right. Get out of my head. Hard to believe that a stiff, humorless man like the mayor could have been behind such a stunt. We have to do something, Apollo, before they pin it all on the mayor. Then we're gonna need to prove that Mayor Tenma didn't plant that yokai stuff. And how are we supposed to do that? Okay, do I present the photo which shows that the frickin' stuff isn't like soaked in blood? They're on top of it. Yeah, I feel like it's the footprints.
Objection!
Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair.
What's this? You dare question my justice again?
They already pinned it all on the mayor, Athena. That's why we're here.
Yes, and I'm gonna prove it to you. Take a look at this photo.
This is the crime scene photo. And just what does this prove?
It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing his victim. Nuh-uh. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear when the feathers and tracks were left at the scene.
Take that! Beep.
Aren't you just pointing at the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice?
Yes! See how the feathers are on top of the blood and the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder.
Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman.
But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereof. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else besides the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene.
There must be some mistake. Order! See, I have an animation. Order! But where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you?
Evidence? No, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness testimony for you.
You do? But how?
Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked? This is a good animation. Objection! If your justice is so good, Bobby, why is this the rare game without justice in the title?
Because they removed you from the game title, Apollo.
I am still salty about that.
He's taking this really hard. He's doing the finger poke thing.
Very cringe of you, Mr. Fulbright. Now, Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you have claimed to have?
I have it right here, Your Honor. It's a sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. Don't you dare throw this out, Blackwell, just because they have the same last name. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. Blackwell is going to stew every time I say Tenma Taro because I'm playing it like everyone's American. But Blackwell is a fucking weeb. So he's just, every time he hears that, he's just like, Taro. He's the scourge, he's the source of those feathers and tracks.
Yeah.
Was that a chair rocking back and forth? Will somebody please say something?
There. The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means.
You dare mock this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy! So you do know my name is Justice, and you still are willing to say at the start that justice will prevail. Yes! Because we all know your name is just is. Fuck, he figured it out. Your boldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
Hold it! Hold it! Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court.
What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please hear me out.
Very well, Mr. Justice. I am all ears and baldness, apparently. But you had better you explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about?
It's all in this statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro.
It's not fucking Tenmataro. He's just saying it wrong. I'm gonna leave a strongly worded comment on this live stream about how you can't pronounce that word.
After she discovered the crime scene and called the police, she came around the corner in the hall. It was around here. That's that she saw Tenma Taro fleeing towards the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise.
What?
How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before?
The French just proved there was someone else.
So was the mayor the killer or not?
Was it all set up?
Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor.
Good. Now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Objection. Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. You have 2 of them on your head. What? They used to be longer? Yes. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim?
Consider this, that yokai impersonator had indeed fled towards the foyer. That fool and that fop would have seen him.
Fool and fop. Oh, you mean Filch and Libelle. Now that you mention it, let me just check something here. This was going on at 3. And the next one starts at 4, as you can see. So that means this was an hour-long thing that he was watching during the time of death.
Both Phineas Filch and Florent Lebel were in the foyer at the time. But they hadn't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination?
Why didn't those 2 see the Tenma Taro impersonator pass by? Did I hear Zorak? Zorak in the gallery? Who? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was! From Space Ghost. I've never seen Space Ghost. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have something.
But has he seen something?
He definitely has. Look at those eyes.
Okay, I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Mr. Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find. But when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will.
Did he just say captured? No, wait, I don't want to know.
Very well then. Bailiff, please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand.
They.
Will the witness state his name and occupation, please?
The name's Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something that you might like.
Oh my, what a fabulous pair of shoes. And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch.
Hey! It's those shoes again!
Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Mr. Filch stole them again. Just like I stole your lines, Apollo.
They're all yours, your ownership, sir.
What? But they seem awfully expensive.
Yup, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your ownership.
It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate I cannot accept such gifts.
Oh, ethics, schmethics. Just take them in for you want and polish them up real nice for you.
I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony.
The court would like to hear whatever you saw. Whether you saw Tenmataro in the foyer after the murder. It's not called Tenmataro. Fucking Americans. Guard in the foyer. At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer. Just like Mr. QB aced. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office, keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. No, sirree! Can we get ethics methics on the record, please?
Sure.
Thank you. That yokai you keep jabbering on was but a phantom of a little girl's dreams. So, you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Tenmataro? Fucker, it's not called Tenmataro. Yup. Was guarding the whole time. That's the truth. The holy, nothing but a truth. And Tenmataro? Bah! You don't really believe in all that yokai mumbo jumbo, do you? Ooh, redstone. Mine. I certainly don't. Oop. My bracelet. It's...
Something the matter, Apollo?
My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm.
Really? So, you think Mr. Filch has been lying to us? Oh. With that stutter there, was Phineas Filch's name in Japanese closer to Tanuki? What would be like a Japanese pun to say Tanuki but close to Aituki? Like I took it away. I wouldn't rule it out. Also, it's past an hour. Time to get some Arizona fruit punch. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell. Some sort of nervous habit. Ah! What in the... What's Hawk doing in here?
Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact.
He doesn't live with you? You know, in jail? Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird?
Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that... Your Honor, the defense would request a mandatory fruit punch break. Thanks. And that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard.
That queer power. Okay. Everything points to Apollo.
Hey, I didn't even get to read my lines!
This spot squawk like this.
What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills!
No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom. Huh? Uh-oh. Hey, somebody help! Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished. In that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, will you ensure your feathered friend is properly fed? It's scratching like a dog.
Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. There was someone dressed as Ten Mataro there. Filch should have seen him. Just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Is that how they counter Apollo's ability? A fucking bird.
Mr. Justice, please proceed with your... Oh, it's stepping a bit harder with your cross-examination. Please get it off, please get it off.
Quack quack. I'm a bird. Or a tanuki, who knows? At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. Q.
Hold it! I got it well before you said that.
Mr. Filch, why did Alderman QB have you handle guard duty?
Because he trusted me. I am the man his caretaker, after all.
So, you took said guard duty seriously?
Let me tell you something about me. I'm...
Yipes!
Listen here, you little tanuki. Get straight to the point and be quick about it. The court wishes to hear what you did or didn't see in the foyer, and naught else.
Yes, of course, sir. Right away, sir.
Blackwell's got him completely under his thumb.
Like I said, I was guarding the foyer entrance that day. I was making sure no one fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise could get to our guest.
So, no one could get to him. Sounds like security was pretty tight.
That's because there's always lots of sneaks and thieves around festival time.
And the solution was to entrust the mayor's security to a thief. That's not even funny. Maybe it's a matter of stopping thieves by hiring one. After all, it takes one to know one. I don't know, it seems more like letting the fox guard the house hen to me.
So, the witness testifies that he took his guard duty seriously.
Yes, sir, your honorship, sir. I was still in the office, keeping a good watch when the murder happened at 10 p.m.
Did you really keep an eye on the foyer the entire time?
Poor old Finchy, been working hard my whole life. Only to be smeared by some greenhorn in his fancy smitchy suit and silly haircut. Sorry, Mr. Blackwell, sir, didn't mean to get off subject there.
Sheesh, Blackwell didn't even say anything.
To answer your question, yes, I kept an eye. No, both of them, in fact, on the foyer. I am Gumshoe. I am on really hard times.
Hold it! Could you describe to the court who you would consider fishy looking?
Someone all fidgety and shifty like, like they're about to steal or something.
He just described himself. I wonder why Mr. Filch didn't see Ten Mataro. Maybe Jinxie only thinks she saw Ten Mataro. Blackwell's getting into my head. Maybe Mr. Filch is lying. And if he's lying, we might be able to spot a contradiction in his testimony. Okay. It's either the first statement or the third statement that I need to put the, like,
little calendar thing. Let's try the first one.
Objection!
That statement clearly contradicts the evidence.
I object to you on personal grounds. The sole contradicting lies in what your faulty logic dreamt up just now. Objection overruled. The defense will think twice before making such erroneous statements.
Seems that statement didn't particularly conflict with the evidence. So it's this one.
Objection!
Objection! Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch.
Hey! I ain't right to bushwhack a fella like... It ain't right to bushwhack a fella like that.
Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss.
Hey! I didn't watch that one. No, sorry. I was doing my job just like I was supposed to.
This guy doesn't seem to know when to give up. He may be a thief who just lied about shoes in court, but he wouldn't lie in court. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right?
Yipes!
Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote,
It was a complete disaster. That's a horrible accent for me.
so, do you admit to slacking off?
You can't trick me with your Rudy Poo lawyer talk.
I'm one of them professional types too. I can do double duty watching TV and the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is a professional thief.
Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off?
I like this song. Kalimba. Yeah, it seems like Filch's personal theme. That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bald-faced lie.
Excuse me?
No. I had lie in the sentence. Do you think you're a liar, Mr. Honor?
Objection sustained. Bald, you say? But I'm the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice.
Same brain.
And in that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. You claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV and the foyer simultaneously. Now prove it.
Take that!
The layout. Please take a look at the direction the TV is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his right ear should be, very specific, I think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time.
Why, yes! Someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance.
Exactly. And that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and you were not watching the foyer as you claim.
Yikes! The bag's out of the cat, or I mean the other way around.
He's on a little box. He's so tiny.
Order! 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 But, Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch's less than stellar work ethic relevant to this case?
It's very relevant because he was slacking off watching TV. There really could have been a Ten Matero impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
Objection.
What now?
Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered.
What are you talking about?
This.
I'm not a mind reader.
Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work, right, Tanuki?
They were?
I mean, yes, they were.
But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't?
My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. You see, the foyer floor and stairway get all creaky squishy when someone walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon.
So, you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by?
Yep, my ears were working full time. So who's the liar now? You no good shyster.
Wait, shyster? Is he a little German man? A lying thief calling me a shyster? This has to be the low point of my fledgling career.
Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackwell, sir. You really are something else. I mean, you didn't miss a thing. And them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine. Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Taka is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie to this court again, you'll suddenly find yourself on the menu. Yikes! Please don't eat me, Taka, sir! The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under penalty of painful bird attacks. And with that in mind, the court requests that the witness revise his testimony accordingly. It's true. I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there's all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So you see, there weren't no Tenmataro in the foyer. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand. A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense. For lacking that, our entire world will be put upside down.
Says the convicted prosecutor who is a total sign of the end times for the legal world.
And besides, if there are any yokai roaming about, I nab them and sell them to the zoo.
I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. That seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. She's practically the person on trial, but they knew it'd be way too samey if the first case and the second case had two shy women. But this is the first case! But we can't prove she saw Ted Matero. The mayor's sure to be convicted. We better hope my guns fire bullets and not BBs.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Ears working overtime.
It's true. I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV.
Hehehe, faster than you. You are paid for your work, aren't you? So how do you justify watching TV on the job?
But it ain't easy being me.
You're not green.
Not yet.
I mean, I can't watch TV when we have visitors and there's no way to record stuff. Sorry, am I supposed to be consoling you over the first world problems?
If those are his only problems, he should consider himself lucky.
I guess pro wrestling's serious business to Mr. Filch. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. You lied earlier about taking your guard duty seriously, didn't you? Oh, that? Ain't no harm in bending the truth a little, right? I'm just a little guy. Ah! Listen to me, you little Danuki. Lie again, and Taka shall feast upon that forked tongue of yours. It didn't move at all, except its little tiny beak. And it made such a noise. Yipes! Sorry, just let me keep my tongue. I gotta sell that for extra parts after this. Just don't you know, side characters don't come back for the end credits, so we gotta sell our parts, because there's no other existence. He'd let the top pro wrestler get murked. Well, that's the thing. I don't think Mr. Filch knew that Mr. QB was the Amazing Ninetales. At least leave it until we get the truth out of him, in any case. You were neglecting your You were slacking in your duties, were you not? Yes, sir, I was, sir. But it ain't like that. The floor there's all creaky and squeaky. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So, you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch. As good as they come, I'd say. Ain't nothing to hear a creaky floor. Plus, that Ted Mataro makes a sound when he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle. How do you know that? Jingle jangle? How does he do that? It's that staff of his. That's what jingle jangles. What's he talking about, Apollo? Beats me. I guess Ten Mataro has a staff that makes noise? Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? She said she saw Ten Mataro holding a staff-like object that made a jangly sound. I guess that's the source of the noise then. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch says Ten Mataro jingle jangle. Would you consider that vital information? Yeah! Extremely vital. I request that it be added to his testimony. Hey, did I fuck up? Why is my testimony getting bigger? Hold it! So, Ten Mataro's... Oh, wait, I just realized it. If Ten Mataro was to pass by, his staff would have gone jingle jangle. Hold it! So, Ten Mataro's staff makes a distinctive sound. Yep, like a jingle and a jangle. Wait, Jinxie said something like that. Something about Ten Mataro making a jangly sound. I think we're missing something here. I can't quite put my finger on it. Perhaps I should take a look at the court record again. So you see, there was no Ten Mataro in the foyer. I'm just gonna take something here, you know.
Objection!
The evidence is good. Bird, kill your baldness. Whoa, me? What do you make of this objection of his? Oh, I don't know if I should, well, I have no patience for vagaries. Now, answer my question. Yes, sir. The defense's objection was clearly misguided. Bravo. Nicely done. It seems our misguided attorney has earned himself a penalty. Better look before I leap next time. Damn, they knew exactly what I was doing. Hold it! Please tell the court, what
did Jinxie see if it was not Tenmatero?
She's always going about seeing this yokai or that. Just an active imagination, I reckon. She won't even come near me because she thinks I'm some sort of tanuki monster.
Can't say I blame her. So, Mr. Filch, you chalk it up to a child's active imagination.
Yep, no Tenmatero or anyone else gotten in or out of QB Manor on my watch.
Paula, what could this mean? Do you think Jinxie was just seeing things? Well, if that's the case, the details she provided were pretty impressive. But if we were to continue believing Jinxie's statements, we'll have to uncover Filch's lie. Right. Or find out why he can't tell the truth. Judge Santa sure says ho 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 a lot. I don't know how to prove that Tenma... How... Huh? Hold it! So Tenmatero makes a distinctive sound. Yep, like a jingle and a jangle. Do I have to present this to say
Objection!
he doesn't have a staff? Tenmatero's staff would make a jingle jangle sound, you say? Well, I'm gonna say that your story doesn't add up.
Is there something the defense would like to share with the court?
Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tenmatero on the day of the incident. Why, then, do you assume just now that Tenmatero would be holding a staff?
Huh?
You see, the Tenmatero Jinxie saw held a staff in his hands. Why couldn't I use this as evidence? What the fuck? And she described its sound just like you did. As a kind of jangly sound.
Hey! So he was holding the staff. What's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Tenmatero doesn't use a staff. Not normally.
What are you talking about?
You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenmatero. Is there a staff in the picture, Mr. Filch?
You're right. There's no staff, not even a cane or a walking stick. Oh, no. Uh-oh. So, the question is, why does this witness think Tenmatero uses a staff?
I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level.
Well, now, this is getting interesting. All right, Mr. Justice. It's time to show the court where you are going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmatero carries a staff.
Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmatero right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could have possibly known about the staff.
Busted again! Bloody hell, you vicious little...
Yes. How's that feel, Black Quill?
Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of a blade like this. Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tenmatero that day, didn't you? Well? I'm begging you, begging you. Please don't make me say it. But clearly you did see Tenmatero. Stop stalling and testify to the fact. No can do, no way, no how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be. He? Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Tenmatero, even though everyone knows he did. The question now is, why? Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why he can't admit to the truth? Come to think of it.
They say you must not gaze upon Tenmatero. But in the event you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, Tenmatero will claim your soul.
Judge! No, this is the judge's voice. No, Blackwell. Judge! Apollo, he assaulted me with a blade! You saw the slash mark across my chest! Arrest him! No, it was pretty damn cool.
Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Tenmatero after hearing about the village superstitions. She said that if anyone told that she had seen Tenmatero, he'd claim her soul.
Wait, you think Filch believes that too?
So Mr. Big Time City Slicker Lawyer has heard about him? Them old village superstitions? Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about?
The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things. And their superstitions may be the reason our witness can't admit the truth. Blah. The truth that he really did see Tenmatero.
Darn straight, that's why. It's all right here.
It's a book. Village superstitions. Do not gaze upon Tenmatero. Do not tell others if you see him. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village. Oh! There it is. Immediate departure of the village. That's why they went with... what's... Trucy. I forgot her name.
See? That's why his folks in Ninetails Vale can't talk about seeing Tenmatero. How can you blithering idiots not see Tenmatero properly if you're in Ninetails Vale? Yeah.
That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tenmatero costume. They knew that that way, no one could talk about him. So it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Tenmatero impersonator is the true killer, which means our client is innocent. Case closed for us. Prosecutors, go and find the real killer. Bye-bye.
What? That's not how these games work.
Objection!
Objection. Superstitions, you say?
What kind of a fool would actually believe such rubbish?
And would that using some silly fairy tale could so easily expose the culprit? You need to come up with a more rational, common sense explanation than that.
Objection!
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Objection!
Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstition in the clink, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Ninetails Vale. A life or death superstition might make even you a believer.
Ugh. One of these days, my animation will break the chains. But not this case. Oh, that finger is sharp. Order! Order, I say! You fool. I will tell Yuki. 2 times now your lies have cost me. Sorry. Sorry. I promise not to do it again.
Wait, costed him? Is Blackwell physically being hurt?
Taka, I find for the friend. Have at him. Yikes! He's gonna eat me alive! Head for the hills! Yeah.
Ah, he took off.
Bailiff! What are you waiting for? After him! What's your fastest man?
That's certainly not something you see every day. It'd be so funny for a character like that to be held up by 2 guards because he's so short, but he can't be trusted because he'll just run if he had a box. Just like each of them have one arm under his shoulder and just are holding him up and he's just flailing.
Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third party disguised as the yokai Tenmataro was at the scene. God damn it, why do you people say it like that? And now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell?
My only objection is how you say Tenmataro.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Huh?
Ah! His shackles! I'm too young to die.
Justice, Dono. How long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade? You had best say your prayers.
Ah! His blade reached all the way to Apollo?
Detective, do something!
Have no fear, Fulbert is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going. Then get going already before he kills us. Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackwell, for it is his sense of justice that set him free.
Objection, objection! I object to the defective Fulbright's definition of justice!
Silence.
Damn.
I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards. Oh, well, in that case, I could immediately sit back in my seat. Prosecutor Blackwell, can I ask you to, you know...
I think the judge forgot he's in charge here.
So, Justice Dono assertion is this. Tenma Taro is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime.
Bobby's like, you go, King! Yeah! Justice! Breaking chains. Why were people in chains if it wasn't justice that put them there? Oh no! Am I wrong? Right. And that yokai, or rather whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Cuby.
Silence.
Silence.
Out!
Ugh. Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the fox chamber.
But what? He's right. She said nothing about Tenmataro being in the fox chamber.
Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door.
And your point is?
Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewered murder victim, the alderman, and the homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor.
No, there must have been someone else dressed. Aye!
Then, why does that little scamp claim not to have seen a yokai in the fox chamber? Considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room.
Typo? They said skewed, not skewered.
Freshly skewed.
Like, this painting is skewed. Well, it is Blackwell talking. We don't know if he had spell check all the way in the 1300s. I don't understand. Why didn't she see Tenmataro inside the fox chamber?
There is but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tenma whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime.
Uh-oh.
The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long is my blade thirst for blood. At long last it shall be sated.
Wait, this is still a trial, right?
Show me what you're truly capable of. Justice Adona!
Ah! Bird! No, I look like a bird!
Very well then. Both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but a 3-minute recess? Just so. Plenty of time in your destination of intent is the loo. Oh, just so. Plenty of time if your destination of intent is the loo. The loo? You mean the bathroom?
Sheesh. At least include enough time to wash your hands. We're in a pandemic here. You need to do a full-ass birthday song.
I know nothing of a plague. See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished. Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins.
Battle!
I declare Prosecutor Blackwell the winner of this round of Simon Says. Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it?
There's still an audience?
Such a tiny urinal next to the guard. So sad. Ew. He busted out of his shackles.
Yeah. What was that all about? Because they don't make shackles like they used to.
Better be careful, Apollo. You've really brought out the samurai in him. Especially after you've proven there was a Tenmataro impersonator at the manor. What's with that guy and the whole samurai act anyway?
Such fine swordsmanship. That is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel.
No! Wait! Let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence.
I suppose it could wait till after.
Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here, not trial by combat? Athena, I'm gonna wash up and drink the fruit punch.
Remember what Blackwell said, Apollo. Don't be late.
April 18th, 10:43 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Yes, I run the show now. Now then, I believe our next witness is Miss Jinxie Tenma, a maid at QB Manor. I believe we can proceed now, if the witness is ready, that is.
Narigado.
Nurari-Hayon.
Nurari-Hayon? Leader of the 100 demons, he really does exist! Wow, that is one well-polished tray.
The witness will show her face while in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible. What is it, my child?
He's just completely unfazed.
Gone, Narahoyan, leader of the 100 demons.
You think I'm a yokai? Well, I was once known as a judicial monster of sorts, getting a ton of people convicted of murder when they're totally innocent.
Athena would totally chant chug.
The beast of the bar, the demon of due process, if you will.
My charm has no effect. The demon of due process? Not sure I can see that one.
Now, you little scamp.
Yes?
I trust you know why you are here.
Bags?
Bags? Oh, that tricksy Tanuxi. Try the noodle stand, and go enjoy a big bowl of Tanuki tail noodles while you're at it.
Everyone's a comedian.
No, I mean your bags. The ones under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Azurikari awake.
That's not how you say it. Azuki Arya, the yokai that washes Azuki beans. The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off.
Azuki Anara often keeps people up at night with the noises he makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore.
Is that so? Thank you.
Looks like Prosecutor Blackwell got more than he bargained for. An actual weeb girl that has knowledge, and he has no way to refute it. They're bad enough alone, but together, those two are just plain creepy. Let's just double check here. 15, 28. Your Honor! She doesn't think yokai is Simon is a yokai. I like bird wide eyes on table slam. Guess I'll have to pay attention to that animation.
Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Taro when you discovered the crime scene.
Oh no. Did I see Tenmataro in the Fox Chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw, yes, now I remember. Yokai! Yokai! Right in that room!
So, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. I can't pull it up because there's no diagram here that shows it. But behind the father, there was the set of 3 yokai.
Lots of them.
Wait, more than 1 yokai? Did Tenmatero happen to be among them?
I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is the room was swimming with yokai. Kasha, Nurikabi, Seto, Taisho.
Jeez, this is really testing my limits of pronunciation.
They were all there.
Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. We've gone from no yokai, to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. You would have this court listen to this delusional little scamp's testimony. Yeah!
Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course.
What a fabulous idea! Please proceed, Miss Sykes.
You know I did, Kai. Failed Domino's campaign reboot. Noid Kai. Okay. I get it. Are you sure you know what you're doing, Athena?
I have the screen. I am now the main character.
She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying have dazed and confused. A regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help. Psychology. Why do I add an extra Y after the CH?
Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed? It makes no difference to me.
With that, I'm very tempted to go like full Hanzo from Overwatch with this guy.
Do as you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. She'd be better by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land.
I'll show you. Athena, the screen was already up.
Yeah, but I need to do the animation every case.
Oh no.
Did I see Tomataro in the Fox Chamber?
Oh, it's just overwhelming.
When I opened the door, I saw it. Yes! Now I remember. Yokai, right there in that room.
Found something! Looks like an out-of-control emotion. That is a shit ton of yokai. Athena, what exactly are we looking at here?
Oh, this? It's one of Widget's functions.
Right here, you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice.
Whoa!
You mean that little thing can do all this?
Yep, AI.
Out of this courtroom.
What's wrong? What do you mean?
No AI.
No, but this one actually works. We're in a fictional world.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh, my computer just coughed up again, even though I've recently been using an air duster on it. There was probably something really intense about all those yokai that just spooked the computer.
She's just a sad little guy. Pretty cool, huh?
And here I thought it was just some kid's toy. He's been staring at that thing this whole time. I'm just like, yeah, you keep your little, oh fuck, why am I blanking on the names? Oh, those little things.
You kept an animal alive? Little keychain things? What were those called again? Tamagotchi! Right? Little Tamagotchi. That's what Apollo has been looking at this entire time. It's like, it's a weird little Tamagotchi. Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. See how SAD is brightly lit there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is making her other emotions. It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess. So, all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of rampant emotions? Yes, that's right. Her fear has instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal, everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a form of schizophrenia hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. And the trauma, in Jinxie's case, is fear. I wonder if we're going to get a case where someone is just so damn happy they can't think straight. And then they fall over dead because they overdosed on something. They are now comatose. Drama. So she was, and still is, seeing ordinary objects as yokai. We'll have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Now, let's see. Yokai right there in that room! Apollo, can you point out the yokai in the Wheel of Fire? She seems particularly terrified of that one. Start by pressing probe.
Q.
Next, point to what's causing Jinxie's out-of-control emotion. Finally hit probe again, R, to try and get to the heart of the matter. Okay, let's give this a try.
Got it!
Jinxie, what's the name for that yokai on the Wheel of Fire? That's Akasha, a yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the Aldermans. It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation. Exactly. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha, like someone hanging on the chandelier to get up into the air ducts. Apollo, you need to point out what she thought was a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Could you have possibly mistaken this for Akasha? Athena pulls up widget, and it's just the egg in the frying pan from your brain on crack ads. Oh my gosh.
Take that!
This is what you mistook for Akasha. What? That thing? No. I'd never mistake that for Akasha. Really? You have to consider what Akasha looks like, Apollo. Think brightly blazing wheel near the ceiling. Okay, let's give this another try. Oh, so it wants me to point at the chandelier. The light fixture? This one, right here. It has a flame design, and it's up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. The Kasha you saw was just a light fixture. Are we gonna have to go one by one and delete every yokai? That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. You're telling me a Tanuki was actually there? Yeah. Now that you've got the hang of it, it should be a cinch to point out the rest.
Jinxie, what about this white wall-like monster?
That's Nurikabe. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray.
That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. And this raccoon dog isn't a tanuki monster. It's just the statue of one. And look, these are just coffee cups. And this right here, it's nothing more than a fox statue.
I don't know what I was thinking. You did it, Apollo! Our extreme fear is under control now. It was all just my eyes playing tricks on me. There weren't any yokai after all. See? A clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. And just like we thought, there were really never any yokai in the fox chamber.
Right. There never really were any yokai there. So the defense is asserting the exact opposite of the original assertion.
Wait. Jinxie? What about Tenmataro?
There wasn't anyone there dressed up as a Tenmataro. Or any other yokai either. I remember it clearly now.
You've never... Gotta... Joking!
Order! Order in the court!
I think we just dug our own grave.
Allow me to push you in. It's the least I can do. No!
Apollo! Can I interrupt your freakout for just a minute? I'm still picking up on some noise. It's an unexpected emotion.
Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet?
Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll enter the new information we have and run an update.
Got it!
This seems like an unnatural reaction.
Really? Because I don't see it that way.
So it isn't expected to given her testimony?
Hello, is there anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me.
Yes, there is someone at home, and that someone is going to try that again. Okay, so they have different intensities. Oh, wait, there's different text here.
Did I see Tenmataro in the fox chamber? I was so scared when I entered the room. My legs gave out and I fell to the floor. There in the fox chamber, I saw the alderman dead on the table and Papa collapsed in a chair. Nobody else was there, and that included Tenmataro.
Why is that Tanuki so close to him? Wait, what am I supposed to do?
Try to find the emotion that contradicts her statements.
So, if I find a contradictory emotion, I should point it out?
That's right. But it's not just contradictory emotions you should look out for. You should also keep an eye on for sudden changes in emotional intensity. Her emotions might get stronger or weaker as you move from statement to statement. It's important to compare how the same emotion changes through the testimony.
Contradictory emotion, changing intensity. Okay, I'll give it a shot.
I think it might just be the end statement on how the shock one isn't as intense anymore.
Got it!
This seems like an unnatural reaction. Really? Because I don't see it that way. So it's yeah, this is the fail state apparently.
Got it!
There we go. The amount of fear you felt is rather low despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear? Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage at that moment. You did? Where did it come from? Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. I suddenly felt that she was there with me. Okay, I'll enter a sudden burst of courage. Now, let's see. Oh, look! The portrait changed. Apollo, the noise is all gone. Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now. Bye-bye. A sudden burst of courage. Now, where could that have come from? I am gonna say, I like Apollo's gimmick of trying to find tells in people's statements better than this emotional wedge thing. It just feels like I'm not figuring out stuff. I'm just going through the motion. It's not like Apollo's thing of where it's like, hey, immediately I see, like, there's a tell there. And that led to a very cool moment with the end of Gavin with the fucking skull. But with this one, it's just very difficult to, you know, consider. Because it's not... It's like whenever Emma showed up in investigations with her device. Not Emma. No. Kay. Kay was the assistant. With the weird little thief thing that could recreate any crime scene. That felt odd. And not really condicative to, you know, interacting with people. The series is best when you are, like, trying to dig at someone, whether it be when you're in the investigation segments, trying to break them with the Magitama, or trying to find their tells with Apollo's eye. I like the idea that they are going with, oh, she's hearing something, but I feel like there could have been something else than this emotional stuff, because it's just too straightforward. You have 4 options that you just pay attention to. There's not much to glean. Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage? Yes, there was, but I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later. Any idea what could have given Jinxie that courage? Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. I wonder if she saw something like that at the scene of the crime. Jinxie, did your sudden burst of courage have anything to do with... I think Athena's has some of that stuff you want, even if it's not as interactive. Okay. I do kind of hope I am wrong with the fact this is only the second time it's happened. I want to say the flower, because when else am I going to use this piece of evidence?
Take that!
Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a 9-tailed flower there at the scene, did you?
The demon lawyer strikes again. I can't hide anything from you.
I found a small case with a picture of a 9-tailed flower on it. I liked it so much I kept it. You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene?
That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce said evidence this instant.
Sorry.
It does seem to have be some sort of case. Huh? Oh, look, something slid out. It appears to be a key. Might I have a look, your baldness? Ah, this is none other than the master key to the QB Manor. Are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackwell? It matches the serial number of that key that went missing after the murder.
The master key that went missing? Why don't I like the sound of that? Well, now there's evidence, because she's had it on her person this entire time, that the only person who could have used that key is her, and she's not going to be at the crime scene, which can prove that it wasn't something else. Can't hide anything from you except my relationship with your sister, apparently. My what? I'm an only child.
A little scamp here has stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence.
That's a little melodramatic, don't you think?
Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The sole key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scamp's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder. Which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl.
And your point is, other than showing off, you can say so much orange text without barfing?
I have no gag reflex. Until Jinxie Tenma opened the Fox Chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world. And there was no one else in there, save the victim and the killer. I trust you have figured it out for yourself by now. A killer other than Mayor Tenma himself would be utterly inconceivable. No!
She's taller than
Objection!
fucking Tanuki. How could this happen?
The defense's assistant will refrain from growling her frustrations.
Athena, are you all right? I know Mayor Tenma's innocent, but there's nothing we can do.
This sucks.
This sucks.
Sakes, Dono. Allow me to put you out of your misery.
Can I decline your offer?
Abandon your client and your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of a clear head and a clean conscience come rushing in. That will make the inevitably guilty verdict far easier to accept.
Great. Now he's playing Simon Says with us. Well, he's not gonna fool us with his stupid mind games. Athena, don't fall for his tricks. Now, I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight. Hey, are you alright? She fell right into his trap.
Now, I suggest you make a mad dash for the courtroom and into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed.
Alright, I'll be back in 10. Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai.
Are you mocking me?
A little bit. Apollo, don't mock the man with a bird.
Mr. Justice! You really shouldn't do that. I heard the word objection, but what is it you object to?
Oh, right. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. Though I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena.
The court is waiting, Mr. Justice. Though, as it stands now, I'll be forced to declare your client guilty and your legal skills suspect if this is it. Now, do you have anything that could overturn the prosecution's case?
Well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine.
Apollo? You do have something more than your cords of steel, don't you?
Not really, but we'll be fine.
But.
I've got absolutely nothing. That's never stopped me before. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't.
Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Try to think outside the box.
Or in this case, inside the box. And what a doozy that locked room is, too. She blue screened.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument?
You bet I do! The real killer must have escaped from the locked room one way or another.
Vague conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Dorno.
Time to do or die. Literally.
The defense will now explain how it would be possible to escape from the locked room. It's like everyone, Von Karma style, slowly gets more and more dangerous. First there was Von Karma, where he would just snap and go at you. Then there was Francisca, who would start whipping people and give them lacerations. Now there's this man with a fucking sword.
You sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened?
I'm fine. I just need to think this whole escaping a locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so?
Choices are pretty limited.
Room has a window, but... Stole your line.
Hey, it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through there, and there's a sheer cliff outside. Ha, finished it.
Also, that Tanuki was very close. Probably at the spot under the vent. And so I believe that someone was hiding inside the fox chamber or such, and someone was hiding inside the vent. And so, oh, wait a minute. Tenmataro escaped and fled after Jinxie already called the cops, which means the door was open, which means this guy didn't know about the master key, even though it was inside. So he just never left. He thought he could escape through the vent, but there's no exit. Look. It only goes up into a smaller spot. You can't escape through there. And so he had to run from the Forbidden Chamber out this way and into here, but she was at the phone.
As for the air vent,
He tried to, but the Tanuki wouldn't give him enough lift.
it's too high up and there's nothing you could stand on to reach it. And needless to say, the Forbidden Chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did. So that's out.
Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. The vent exits. But I think it's too small for a person. We need to rule out all the absolute impossible escape routes. Then, whatever left just might lead us to how the Fox Chamber was compromised. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the killer escaped through here. I'm gonna say the air ducts because, yeah, probably.
Take that!
And just how did the killer escape through there, Mr. Justice? Your reasoning skills seem as questionable as your proposed escape.
I wish I could escape right now.
I'm afraid there's no escaping the penalty for random guessing, Mr. Justice.
Well, that's why I created a hole in the space-time. Do I have to tap this end?
Take that!
And just how did the killer escape through there, Mr. Justice?
Take that!
This seems wacky. Because we know the murderer is the assistant to the mayor. So, that leads me to believe they didn't know about the key, and they just hid there. Me when I escaped through the capital D and the word duct. Is that the spot? Because I feel like that's where I shot.
Take that!
The hallway door? Well, yes, I suppose that would be the only way out. It would appear that you've already forgotten that the only available key until Jinxie Tenma came on the scene with that within the locked room. How would one exit from the Fox Chamber and then lock it without a key?
I should have seen this coming. Remember, Apollo, keep it simple. Simple, right. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with the key, but...
Well, Mr. Justice, the prosecution has some fine Japanese steel waiting unless you explain yourself quickly.
I'm fine. I can explain myself. The reason the Fox Chamber's hallway door was locked was because... Ooh, it locked on its own? Does it have an automatic locking mechanism? I don't have any files that say so. Perp locked it from the outside. Nope. There's only 2 keys. Key was inside. Maybe the door closed accidentally on its own. Ow!
The killer would never be identified if we attribute key moments to mere chance. Perhaps that spear just happened to fly off the wall and impale the alderman too. Or perhaps the sedative just happened to make its way into his coffee. Mere chance could explain any number of things.
Right, next idea then.
Are you fucking with the space-time continuum?
Mayor Tenma locked it himself after the killer fled the scene, just in case the killer decided to return. That would explain why the room was locked.
Yes, I see. Then again, wouldn't Mayor Tenma have mentioned that himself?
Oh, maybe it slipped his mind because of that blow to his head.
Yo! I have already considered and investigated such possibilities.
You have?
The mayor's fingerprints were not on the door or its doorknob. The only fingerprints found belonged to the alderman. Ergo, the mayor did not so much as touch the door.
Oops. It's weird how your health bar explodes in a courtroom sim of all games. It's dramatic! I mean, if it just quietly disappeared, it'd be like, whoops, I guess that was a little thing. But no, there's drama, there's magic in these games. The perp locked it from the outside. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the... Ow! Then locked it!
Consider this. The master key was found inside the tightly locked fox chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from that room is a blatant contradiction of the fact.
Exiting the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside. But the key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction. If only we could explain both. Like, how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from the outside.
Well, let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackquill draws his sword. Hey. How could the master key be at the crime scene despite the room being locked up tight?
Slipped it in when the door was open. Threw it in from the outside. Changed the lock. What if someone threw it into the room from the outside? You know, something like go out the hallway door, lock the door, and toss the key back in through the window? That would explain how the master key could have been inside the locked room.
And where would you throw it from? There is a cliff outside the fox chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility.
Ugh. Right. Ike! I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere other than the window. Somewhere other than the window?
Mr. Tonic, get away from that health bar!
But it is more daring to have explosions for the health bar. Why do you think there's an entire bomb division in the police department? It is my duty.
Could the key have been tossed in through somewhere other than the window? Yeet. Okay, so it was trying to tell me of just like, hey, this is gonna be simple. Don't
Take that!
Don't take too long.
The air vent?
Yes, the window may be out of the question, but the air vent's not. Oh, that's right, the Fox Chamber's air duct. It leads out into the hallway. That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the Fox Chamber. Then dropped the key into the room through the vent inside the chamber.
That's preposterous.
Ah, that explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door. Perfectly.
Mr. Justice! I'm afraid I'm a bit confused.
Don't worry. I'll explain it even so your honor can understand.
Excuse me?
First, the real killer, disguised as Ken Matero, murdered the alderman in the Fox Chamber. Then, he fled the room through the hallway,
and hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do was to go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer?
Amazing! Even I could follow that. Look at my hammer.
The judge seems really pleased he has animations finally.
That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up like Tenma Taro. And there was someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in that room. Hey, looks like the lawyer has beat the jailbird.
Wow, it's like a total turnabout.
Get the massive forehead, even from here.
Hey. Can I see the crowd? I completely misread that. But I like the idea that all the previous people are just in the gallery. I heard a Space Jam mashup with this song and I can't unhear it. Ooh, fun.
Order! Order! Order, I say!
Now that I've proven a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence!
A valiant effort. Justice Dono. But your final thrust missed its mark. Why are you laughing?
No, I'm not laughing.
I hate dick jokes. I won't kill anyone who makes a dick joke. Both that little scamp and the tricksy Tanuki saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz right out the front door?
That's exactly what happened. The killer fled from the— Ow!
But that is impossible. Without being spotted by the foyer's security system, that is. The electric eye here would have captured any pesky little yokai trying to escape. However, there is no sign of Tenma Taro anywhere in the security footage.
Hey, you said it like us.
Fuck! No! Tenma Taro! I atone for my sins.
What? You can do that?
Yes. Every time I do that, I paint one of my hairs black. Jesus! Save for the foyer entrance, is there no other way to flee the manor, is there?
I don't feel so good. Gets dusted.
Wait, I believe there is one other way to escape that besides the foyer entrance. There's a window. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera. Hey, you're right. No, I'm psyched.
Silence!
Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only brains, but your investigation prowess to boot. That is the cliffside of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one.
No!
Wait. Was that French?
We.
So the killer didn't escape out the foyer window?
What the heck, right?
I suppose your next proposal is that the killer sprouted wings and flew off into the sunset.
Maybe. Maybe. Oh yeah, he takes off the costume, throws it out the window, and then can you know, walk out the foyer like nothing's an issue because, oh, I'm the assistant. Oh, ho, ho. That would mean the killer really was a yokai. If only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer. Who's saying we don't? As a completely far-fetched as it would be. What? What? Are you saying you could prove the killer could fly? I mean, yeah, we're the right anything agency. We've actually done it before. Whoa! I thought I was the one with the cords of steel.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Your Honor.
What evidence do you have that the killer flew away?
Take
I'm
that!
not even saving. I know it immediately. Take a look at this special edition paper.
Tenma Taro, real or flight of fancy? What does this article prove, Mr. Justice?
The photo in the article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in the photo is the killer shortly after they fled out the window.
But, Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting...
Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer, disguised as Tenma Taro, flew away. You know, by some way or another.
Silence!
It is your brain that has flown the coop.
Crazy how the paper reporter reported that, but not the murder of the mayor at the exact time. Well, they had the image of the Tenma Taro, but they didn't have an image of the Fox Chamber, so they only published what they had. Digitally. Through the internet. Totally didn't make a second article.
That image is not but trick photography or some other form of artifice.
Okay, then, Mr. Artificer. How about the Tenma Taro figure which Mr. Flinch saw? It just vanished into thin air?
No, there's a rational common sense explanation for that.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you over drinking my Arizona fruit punch.
You little scamp. That infernal yokai, our trickster Tanuki, witnessed, never reached the entrance. Or should I say, she turned back before the camera's electric eye.
She? I don't like where this is going one bit.
Now, the fact we know that the yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that it was likely either Mayor Daimon Tenma or his daughter Jinxie Tenma. However, we know that Mayor Tenma was already unconscious at the time.
Nope. Not good. Not good at all. Let me look at chat for support. Just put a picture of the mayor, like our alderman is dead. That's not helpful! What? Ah!
Simple geometry. Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Dono? Fade. The falsified yokai remnants. And the appearance of Tenma Taro were the work of one individual. And that individual is none other than Jinxie Tenma.
Hey, let's see. I called it. Someone is accusing a small, timid girl. Ha!
I have a feeling the same kind of situation is going to happen tomorrow.
Hey! No!
Order! Order! The defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever! The little scamp was, no doubt, simply trying to protect her father. And it's no wonder that her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade. Prosecutor Blackwell's assertion makes perfect sense to me. It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out the window. Did you truly believe this could end any other way?
Did we fall right into his trap? What do we do now, Apollo? Our case no longer stands without a real yokai. If only we had one.
It comes Gumshoe! Bailiff, seize her. It is time I interrogated her as the samurai of your wood.
Mayor Tenma?
This farce is over. How does it feel seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul?
Tenma Taro's true identity is...
No, Mr. Mayor. It would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you had been knocked out cold by the blow to by a blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming about the manor would be all but impossible.
I was going to say it was Florent LaBelle.
Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, the prosecution would be willing to overlook her little yokai farce.
Confess? The defendant intends to confess? Wait!
Apollo! Prosecutor Blackwell's up to his mind games again. Nope. Still accusing Damon of the murder. She's not defended. We're getting close on technicalities here, doll.
Mayor Tenma, no, don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone. The real killer is...
Mayor Tenma's gonna confess unless we do something! But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away.
Caw, 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 caw. Look upon me and despair, for ripe is time for my return.
Uh-oh. I should watch what I wish for.
Foolish mortals! I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you seek.
Mayor Tenma?
Silence! I am Tenma Taro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber. Behold, the return of the Demon King!
Wait. We're at 3 p.m. now. What the Demon King?
Well then, I think it's time to take a vacation! The witness will... he will explain himself. Are you sure you're Tenma Taro, the yokai we've been chasing this whole time? Indeed, it is I, Tenma Taro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenma Taro, you say? Ha! What nonsense!
So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now?
Gah, 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 gah! His body is now mine! So, you're saying that Mayor Tenma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai that Jinxie Tenma and Phineas Phillips saw, and the one captured in the newspaper photo, those are all you? The accursed power of these warding charms prevents me from revealing my true form.
I like both of them in frame, just...
Ugh. Your boldness! Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt? Well, confession by a yokai would be quite unprecedented. Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned.
Huh? What?
You claim the yokai that little scamp saw was some third party, the true killer. The one who escaped from the locked fox chamber. But it was the accused all along. No. Ironic, is it not? Your yokai turned out to be real in a manner of speaking. For the alderman's killer is none other than Mayor Tenma. And the yokai at the scene. That too was Mayor Tenma, or should I say, our dear Tenma Taro. The pieces have all fallen into place.
How so, Prosecutor Blackwell?
It seems I must spell it out for you.
Is that Apollo, like, being kind of like... what's it? He's doing mind games to him now? Love Simon's T-pose. He T-posed? Somebody clip that after the stream.
Mayor Tenma killed the alderman in the fox chamber, which was locked at the time. He then removed the warding charms from the forbidden chamber's door, but then fell unconscious from the blow the alderman delivered to his head. That's when his daughter Jinxie Tenma stumbled on the scene of the crime. The little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. The newly freed Tenma Taro then fled from the fox chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father possessed by Tenma Taro. Do you see how ridiculous you sound?
Objection!
But when we arrived on the scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How's that possible if he was supposed to have flown out from the foyer window?
Then what? Do you mean to say the maid of Kubimana, Jinxie Tenma, was Tenma Taro?
That too is easily explained. I flew about for a time, did I? But presently, tired, I made for the Forbidden Chamber. But alas, exhaustion took me, unawares in the Fox Chamber, and I knew no more.
It would seem the pieces are still in place.
Is Blackwell up to his tricks again?
I don't know what to say. Is the defendant a real live?
So the rumor that Mayor Tenma's true. I knew you guys were real.
We really did kill the alderman just so we could release Tenma Taro? Order! Order!
Now he's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai.
It's Simon Says on steroids. He wants to convince our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai.
The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty, your boldness. This is one of the most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact.
What about the magician?
No! I don't even think that one's real. So strike that from the record. This is the weirdest case. Can yokai even be prosecuted under our legal system?
Objection!
Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenma Taro to protect his daughter. Plus, I have already proven how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature.
Since both sides have raised valid points, I have no choice but
Silence!
This is the dark age of law where defense attorneys are not to be distrusted. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning, Justice Dono.
Objection!
I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
Then prove it by joining me. A night in the clink will assure you will not succumb to temptation.
How about I just promise not to succumb to anything?
We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. A guilty verdict.
What's wrong with him? Prosecutor Blackwell, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are in serious violation of that.
What in the devil was that? Fulbright, have you tampered with my shackles in some manner?
It seems you have found that quite shocking. It's my special jolt of justice device. Each press is a shocking reminder to behave.
You shall pay for this.
Your Honor! You need not fear. I believe Prosecutor Blackwell will remain on his best behavior.
A bit late with the reassurance, aren't we, Detective?
Take note of the Dark Age of Law thing. Take note of the Dark Age of Law thing. Yeah, I remember that from the first case. They're talking about the Dark Age of Law. Oh, does that mean the last case is going to be a juris system? Woo! But now, Blackwell seems so pathetic that he can just be shocked at any time. Immediately has been dumbed down to comic relief.
But, well, in that case, this concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned.
To be continued. Woo! 3 hours and a bit more. That was good. That felt like a good stream. There was a lot of interesting stuff there.
And we now have Simon Blackwell. In a very strange voice that ebbs and flows between a more proper gentleman and all-out samurai.
But it's fun to do, so. Alright, so. And I have learned from the great book of how to do Twitch for Dummies, from Doug's video, that an ending thing is also required of thank you for watching. If you peeps want to see more, I have previous videos archived here on the YouTube channel. And you can see me next time live on Monday at noon PST for most likely this game, but if you're in the far-flung future, I'm probably playing other things. I don't know what I'm playing in the future. I can't see the future. But this was fun. Time to push the end stream button.